Hey guys, Sundown here. This is going to be my chapter review to Nanatsu no Taizai, or the seven deadly sins 277. You cannot free yourself from love. Now, I know one person who is going to be absolutely pissed at this chapter, and that's going to be Grim Reaper. Check my boy's channel out. He's really informative, really good with Nanatsu no Taizai and several other mangas actually. But we just did a Boar's Hat. I think it was yesterday, so I'm not sure if it's out yet. But if you go check his channel and you see the latest Boar's Hat, that'll come out maybe within the next 1 or 2 days. Maybe it's already out. He discussed how he didn't want everyone to get bodied just by Mile, and that's exactly what happened. So let's go through this chapter and talk about how that happened. So first we start off with Dedieri bleeding out, and she's falling and she's dying, and obviously we have Elizabeth just there like shit in her pants because Dedieri's been wrecked. But using this opportunity, Mile instantly like kind of vacuums up her commandment. So he's already stolen Dedieri's commandment. So what I thought was going to happen was Galtha would steal the commandment instantly, using that opportunity to hide it away from Mile in some way. But Mile is just too quick thinking for these guys. I mean, Galtha didn't even think about trying to do that. He didn't even try in the slightest. So obviously big time situation here, because he's already powerful enough that he's bodying people left, right and center. If he takes in another commandment, it's game over for everyone there. So King's there and he's like, I gotta stop this, and then he faints because he's just bleeding out. Look at his arm. Oh my god, it's his arm is just like Mile did mention that it would be that his attack on King would be particularly hurtful towards a person like King. I've forgotten exactly why. I think it's meant to be an attack that kind of decimates demons from like the inside out. But if you used it on a non-demon, it would be even worse in terms of how it affects them. Apologies. So obviously Sadiel's just there like, bruh, don't take in that commandment. You're gonna lose yourself completely. You will not be Mile if you're taking that commandment. And Miles just there like, bruh, stop this right now. And Miles just like, nah, I'm gonna do this. And flash of light, the Angel of Death has gone apeshit, and Sadiel gets blown away, Talmiel gets blown away, Garth has just stood there, and Elizabeth's just kind of hugging onto the dead body of Dedieri, just like, oh my god, this was crazy. When I saw that flash of light, I was just like, it's game over, man, game over. So they're all done, basically, I think. Then we go through like I think it's essentially what we can class as Dedieri's dying moments, because she seemed to still be kind of cognitive, like not really there, but just in the process of dying. And so she's back in the demon world, in the underworld, after having failed to stop Mile, and she's there and like fully cognitive and everything. She knows that she's kind of dead, and this is kind of like a memory that she's just reminiscing on just before she actually passes. So here we have actually Monspete, and he's there and he's talking about how Meliodas actually killed the two commandments, Aronach and Zeno, who tried to execute some goddess captives, and he then escaped the demon world together with them. So this is kind of how Meliodas betrayed the demon clan and what he did as the leader of the 10 commandments. And Monspete here is like this whole interaction was really nice to see, because you see how even back then Monspete knew he had that trust for some strange reason. He was the only one who had that trust in Meliodas, and he was just like he's the leader of the 10 commandments. What should we do? I'm not too sure what we should do. As this is the guy that led us for however long he did. What should we do? There's got to be a reason. And this is where Dedieri kind of realizes that she's kind of looking in on a memory from a distant past, and she sees herself kind of saying that I don't care if Meliodas was the commander of the commandments. I'm going to go after him. I'm going to kill him. I'm going to capture him. All that stuff. And it's here that Monspete asks Dedieri. He goes, "What do you think about us following after Meliodas' lead? Should we do what he did and defect?" So even back then, Monspete was the only one seemingly who was forward thinking enough to understand that what Meliodas was doing might not have actually been too bad, and he was actually moving in a direction that was going to end the war rather than continue the war and continue this kind of proliferate all this murder and stuff like that. So Monspete here, he was just like, maybe we should think about following his lead and doing the same thing that Meliodas did. And obviously this annoys Dedieri, and Monspete kind of brushes it off as, did you think I was serious? And then he goes, well, actually I am. And then we have Derriere just flying away, saying, "If you're gonna stay here, stay here. I'm gonna go after him." And obviously, at this point, Monspeed realizes that he needs to go with Derriere, and you see the current Derriere, the one that's currently dying. She's just there, like looking at all this, thinking like, even all that, even like 3,000 years ago, before, like at the moment of Meliodas betraying us, you were trying to tell, like, Monspeed was trying to tell her like how much he cared for her, and like how much what they, like, he was trying to inform her of what they were doing was wrong. And she could see just by the way he was smiling at her, like as they're flying away, like she could feel like how much he loved her, essentially. So she thanks him, she thanks Elizabeth, and then I fully assume she's dead now. I mean, like there's no way, especially considering Elizabeth kind of gives her kind of like a momentary kind of burial. There's no actual burial, but she kind of gives her the speech of like, be at rest, just slumber for now, even though she's slumbering forever. And she gives the whole like promise, like, I swear I won't let your feelings go to waste. I'm gonna stop this holy war, I'm gonna stop Mael, and I'm gonna save Meliodas. So with that being said, I fully believe that Derriere is dead. So then we see Mael kind of engrossed in this giant archetype type thing. So a huge ball of light, exactly like how actually Meliodas is cocooned in that huge ball of darkness. And within this huge light ball thing are 4 black holes. And you assume those are the 4 commandments, and they're each of different size, actually, whether that's because of proximity or whether that's because of actual strength. We can discuss that many times over and still not really get an answer. So Hawk is obviously just like, what is that? And Elizabeth explains, and this is actually where I feel Grim Reaper, one of my boys, I feel like he's actually going to be even more pissed, because he felt that Tanmiel had more of an excuse. And I actually brought this up. I said, what would happen? I think 2 boars had to go. So not this one that we just did, the one before that. I brought up that Sariel and Tanmiel actually have a limited amount of time, and that's exactly what comes to pass. Sariel is actually dissipating in this chapter, and I think he actually fully dissipates by the end of it. And Tanmiel's just there holding him up like, bro, hang in there, like, we can't do this without you. You need to stay here. We need at least two of the 4 archangels to even see this through. And Sariel's just there like, bro, we failed our mission. All we had to do was like incapacitate him for a bit, and you used up all your power. I'm not sure how that was actually translated, because Tanmiel definitely didn't use up all his power. He negated the effects of his power because his will was broken, his soul was broken. He didn't want to see Mael get hurt. So he tells Tanmiel to his face, he was like, bro, that was a screw up. That was the only chance we had, and Tanmiel's like, he's just there like, bro, I couldn't do it. So Sariel realizes that was their only chance, and he also realizes that now that the power of light and darkness is fusing within Mael, someone with the power of darkness and someone with the power of light won't be able to affect him. So it has to be either a fairy, a giant, or a human. Look at the details, bro. Look at the details. So it's got to be Bond, but it's so a fairy, giant, or human that's got to take out Mael. Now you still have to wonder if even Meliodas, in his assault mode with the 5 commandments within him, even if he wouldn't be able to damage Mael, surely he would be able to, because like darkness will affect darkness if it's more powerful than someone else's darkness, you know. So for instance, a full-powered Meliodas would definitely be able to beat a full-powered Galen, like, just because his darkness is stronger. But maybe it's saying that the light of Mael would negate Meliodas' darkness. But even then, a full-powered, a more powerful darkness should be able to negate a lesser light. So I'm not too sure how that works. But yeah, so just having said a fairy, giant, or a human, Ban. It's got to be Ban. So he just goes through then that King is like, he's basically almost dying. Galtha isn't the same Galtha as he was before. He seems to be a completely different person to the cold, unfeeling Galtha of the 10 Commandments. So he doesn't have it within him to possibly beat Mael, especially considering how beat up he is. And so Sariel's then he's just lying down, like dissipating, and he's just like, bro, this isn't like whatever Mael's gonna become. He's not gonna be the Mael we knew ever again. Mael's gone. So he then kind of, as he's dying, he just says, we failed in our mission to save our brother Mael. We failed in our mission to protect Lady Elizabeth. And you know, what type of excuse for 4 archangels are we? This obviously hurts Tanmiel more than anything, and he just can't take it anymore, and he screams up to Mael. Excuse me. He screams up to Mael saying, I want you to return to how you were, the kind and gentle being you were. And then he gets decimated by just this blade of black. that spears down from this kind of cocoon of light, and it decimates Tanmiel, and then that seems to be his end as well. So like I said, Grimm was of the kind of, what would you call it, the bandwagon that would say, well, it wasn't really a bandwagon. He was of the group that was hoping that people wouldn't be getting bodied by Mile, but that's exactly what's happened. Tarmiel and Saria in this chapter are done. They're completely done. Derrieri's also done. So you're left with Elizabeth, Gartha, King is done, and Hawk. And you're just like, bro, this is a worst case scenario. So then we just have Gartha kind of telling Hawk to take care of King, and he protects Elizabeth from kind of one of these meteorite kind of explosions from Mile, and he asks Mile again to forgive him one more time, and he's going to fight to protect his friends. But I truly believe that Gartha ain't got no chance of winning at this point. He ain't even got a chance of hurting Mile unless he lands one of his kind of, because Gartha's abilities are very unique in that sense. So unless he lands one of those, he has no chance against Mile. And the worst part is that Mile is aware of what Gartha can seemingly do, maybe. So Gartha is now trying to protect his friends by going against Mile. Like I said, I don't believe he's going to stand a single chance. But this now gives us the excuse that we've all been waiting for. Ban, Meliodas, and Wild need to get out and out of Hawk's eyes or something, because that's where you assume the exit is. And they need to fight against Mile. There's nobody else right now who can take out Mile, unless like Meliodas with his 5 commandments, the other Meliodas, pops out and he's absorbed the commandments already. But that was supposed to take about half a day. So it can only be Ban, Wild, and Meliodas, and Ban and Wild by themselves would be a really, really good kind of pitch against Mile, just because of what they've been through in Purgatory. I mean, like, you have to consider that Wild was fighting against the Demon King for like, he fought against him like, I've forgotten how many times. It was in the tens of thousands. And especially with Elizabeth there, she's gonna just be like freaking healer, like freaking Lucio or some shit. And it's gonna be awesome. I can't wait to see, because I've been calling this for a while, and I still feel it's gonna come to pass. But Mile did body 3 people in the space of like 2 chapters, 2 archangels, 1 commandment. It's crazy. Mile is absolutely insane. So let me know what you guys thought of this chapter. Let me know what you guys thought of this review. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I'll see you guys in a bit.